All right, we are back, and we've called an audible. Speaking of football, we talked about that a lot this morning,
Yes.
and we have an artist coming in just a few minutes. We had Tracy on the calendar, but we put the wrong time on the calendar, and we're like, "Where's Tracy?"
Well,
And then
it's just a
Tracy shows up
general
at the
time.
right time.
I mean, windy time is general anyway. So if we think
Yeah,
about it that way, we're all right
yeah.
on
There's like a
time.
2 hour window. No, but Tracy shows up at the right time,
Yes.
and we have our guests here.
Yes. Tracy Shellhouse and Delaney Walker are here from New Hope Pregnancy Center. Welcome again, some of our good friends, and I always brag on them because they do such a good job for our community and what they provide and offer. And anyway, so it's always good to have you guys.
Well, it is great to be here.
And you're talking today. We had talked before the last time you were on about your upcoming event, and now we're going to focus on your Hope group
Yes.
that you offer through New Hope, and it's a very needed and wonderful group to be a part of.
It is. Hope Group, HOPE stands for Healing of Post-Abortion Emotions. And our HOPE Group is a closed, confidential support group where someone can go through the healing and grieving process of an abortion decision. Many people later regret that that was the decision they made and often feel that it's not really something they have anyone that they can talk to about. And so we are that someone. And what is really awesome about Hope Group is we watch people go from regret and sometimes shame and fear that if they share it to healing. And so it's really special, but the great thing about it is it's a safe environment. And so we are, we actually don't even announce the date and the time of the groups in order to be able to protect privacy. And then what we see in time often as people progress through the group, they actually begin sharing their own stories with others, sometimes publicly. But that's part of the healing process.
Right. Well, and I, I know it's confidential, but again, it's one of those things that's very needed.
It is.
I can't imagine someone who needs some sort of counseling for whatever their situation, but especially in this situation, there's a lot of forgiveness that has to take place
Yes.
often in someone's life to get through a difficult situation or choices that were made.
Right.
And it's not condemnation and
No.
or shame that they need to be living in, and it's just walking in that forgiveness and freedom and knowing that they've got a story that could help someone else.
Absolutely. And sometimes the forgiveness is maybe they need to offer people forgiveness. Maybe they needed help at the time and no one stepped up and helped them and they felt like they were by themselves. Maybe someone sort of coerced them or insisted that they have an abortion. Or maybe the forgiveness is they need to be able to receive forgiveness because they don't feel that they have been forgiven or can be forgiven. And the reason we know this is an important group is since the passing of Roe versus Wade and Doe versus Bolton, which legalized abortion in America through all stages of pregnancy, all 9 months, since then there have been more than 59.5 million legal abortions performed in this country. So it is reasonable to expect that there are probably around 100 million men and women who have an abortion experience. And we know that women, on average, it takes them about 20 years to become reconciled and be able to heal from that. Men, 40 years. And I tell people all the time, I will go to my doctor at least twice as fast as my husband. And so I think that that's part of it, that men take longer. But I think also part of the issue there, too, is men are providers and protectors. And so often it is a very difficult thing for them to work through. And so we know that there are people in our community that need it. And year after year we have the opportunity to serve them. But we know that there are more out there that need it. And we hope that they would place their trust in a group of people that have no agenda other than to help them.
Now, how often does the group meet?
Typically, it's once a year, and it is for 8 weeks. There have been times we've offered groups more than once a year if we have people from the community that come forward that need it. When someone is ready to begin working through it and they're ready to receive healing, we don't really want to go, oh, I'm sorry, you missed that window. You're going to have to wait another 10 months. And so we want to go ahead and get them worked in. And so normally we do it in February. And we do that because we spend so much time speaking in January about Sanctity of Human Life Month. I think we had a presence in probably 6 or 7 different churches as far as us being there, but probably in 30 or 40 churches, us getting our information out through bulletin inserts and things like that. So this is for us, it's a great time of year to get someone enrolled in the program and get them started. And also, so often at the beginning of the year, people make resolutions. And I would wager that there's probably people listening to us today that have already ditched that resolution.
Sure.
A lot of times it's like, we get that gym membership and we're good until maybe the 3rd week of January, and then we start going once or twice a week. And so people make resolutions, and that is something I don't do. I will set goals for the year. But I do think that the beginning of the year is a great time to do new things, and it's a great time to focus on having a better life. And that's really what resolutions are about, whether we want to be healthier, whether we have some goal we want to meet this year. And I will be honest, for the person that is post-abortive, that has been hurting, and they are afraid to talk with someone, this is a great time to set a goal, to go about receiving healing. And so for us, this is a good time to do it because a lot of people are making decisions for a healthier, happier life in January. And so here we come in February going, we know how to make that happen.
Right. Now, if someone's interested in being part of the group, how do they sign up?
Well, they can give us a call at our office, and that number is 423-479-5825. And that, or they can go to our website or use our email, which is accessible through the website. It's called Hope Group at newhopepcc.org, or if they go to our website, we have an information email, and we'll be happy to get back in touch with them. I will say the group will be beginning fairly soon, so if this is something that someone needs or they know of someone who needs this, this is the time to get in touch with us.
Okay. Can they just stop by?
They sure can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you're downtown now?
We
your
are.
New location. I still
Yes.
call it the new location.
It's still new to us.
It
It
is,
is.
yes.
I think it'll be new for a long time. Yes, we're at 353 Worth Street, and so we are in the downtown area. But what's great about it is off the beaten path. And so you can come in and still have that sense of being anonymous, which I think a lot of people appreciate, especially a lot of our clients that are coming in for things like pregnancy tests and stuff like that. We used to be on Mouse Creek, which is one of the most heavily trafficked roads in the county. And we were right by the Mr. Zip, and it was pretty obvious if you were in our parking lot. And so we have been really blessed to have a great location that allows that.
Yeah, and you offer things, like the ultrasounds and things like that. So women can be in there for a multitude
absolutely.
of things.
And we have people that are volunteering, and we have people on staff. I mean, on average, we probably have anywhere from 8 to 12 people in there that it's just us. And so people can come in. And you know what? We have people who are volunteers that also choose to go through things like Hope Group. We have people who are volunteers, and yet they choose to utilize the Earn While You Learn program because maybe they're expecting a child. And so that's one of the things that we do at New Hope is we don't have restrictions on who can be involved at New Hope. We feel that if someone brings them to us, we definitely want to make sure we meet that need and we serve them.
Right. So be sure if you're interested to call in for more information and or visit the website.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
And Delaney, you've got also some news about an upcoming event in April. We just want to throw out there, save the date.
Yes, we have our annual spring banquet coming up. It's going to be on Thursday, April 13th. We are going to have Sean Carney of 40 Days for Life be our main speaker. We're really excited about having him talk to our supporters in the community. We know they do a lot of great work through that organization throughout the country and worldwide.
I think it's worldwide, but primarily here in the U.S. is where their focus is.
So it's going to be really exciting hearing his view, because they do similar works in terms of doing pro-life stuff throughout the country, but it's just in a different
Arena.
arena. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that 40 Days for Life focuses on is praying for 40 days outside of abortion clinics in a non-confrontational, loving way. To be able to offer hope that there are different choices, but also a big initiative of what we do in the pro-life community is we're praying for those who are performing the abortions, those that are working in those clinics, and praying that they would have the opportunity to get out if that is not what they want to be doing or where they want to be. And so year after year after year, through 40 Days for Life, we see people do what we call crossing the lifeline, that they walk out of a place that is bringing about death and walk into the light and into the life, and then have the amazing opportunity to use their skills to, help people, and often use their testimonies to tell people about their experiences. And so 40 Days for Life is sort of on the forefront and very active in, we get lots of great, sound bites from, their responses to different things that are going on in the country. Sean Carney is a phenomenal speaker. I know one of the reasons we have him is Delaney and I'd heard him speak, I'd watched videos and things, but I'd never heard him live. And we had the opportunity to hear him live, and at the end of it, we were like, we need to have him. He is so charming. He is very winsome. He has a great sense of humor, but he is so powerful all at the same time. And his entire family lives a pro-life kind of life. And so we're excited that he's going to be able to be with us.
And so if people are wanting to reserve their tickets, all they have to do is call us at New Hope 423-479-5825. And I'd be happy to put them on a list.
Okay. Well, and maybe as it gets closer to April, you guys can come back and maybe even bring a clip of some sort with him.
Yeah.
Just a little teaser for everyone, and come back and just remind the folks of what's going on and with New Hope. And once again, I love having you guys and knowing what's going on and all the great things that you do for the community.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yes, y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
And before you leave, you mentioned a few times, you talked about the Hope Group and how a lot of times people who go through that end up being the most powerful advocate or
Yes.
change because of testimony. And then you were talking about this gentleman and how he incorporates the testimony of people that were outside praying. And so it just kept getting the scripture in my mind about how in Revelations where the accuser comes and is constantly accusing against the believers, but the scripture says they triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony.
Yes.
And how appropriate that is to your ministry. So
It is so powerful. That's actually a few years ago, the people that were leading the Hope Group just found themselves where they were committed to some other organizations and ministries, and they had to step down from that position. I didn't have anyone to step in, but I knew it was an essential program. And I myself am not post-abortive, and I really preferred that it be led by at least one person that had that experience. But I just prayed and trusted, okay, Lord, if you're putting it in my lap, you're going to equip me to do it. And I led that group. But as I was leading that group, I was praying, Lord, would you call somebody up? And that is exactly what he did. So some of the people that went through the group that were seeking healing themselves then became involved as facilitators of that group. And they have achieved greater levels of healing as they share their story with others. But they also have helped others be able to find that healing. And it is so powerful. And the thing is it would be very easy for someone who is maybe pro-abortion to tell me, I don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't had an abortion. Now, I have lots of experience and lots of stories, and I've empathized with a lot of people. But you can't tell that to someone who has experienced it, has regretted it, and by the grace of God is also healed from it. And it is such a powerful testimony. It changes their lives, but then in turn, God uses them to change other lives.
Sure.
Yes, absolutely. I didn't know you had a word for the group
But
over
just
there. You just
continue.
sitting over there quietly working the cameras and just brought a word to us.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
mean, if somebody's out there watching this and they're just curious and there's like a tug on your heart or whatever you want to call that, just know that this could be a great opportunity for you to hear from somebody else. And you may not be familiar with the word testimony. It's a very churchy word. You know, we use it a lot at church, and it's very Christianese. That's what I call it. You know, it's a
Yeah.
language in
Can I
itself.
toss one thing out there,
Yeah.
Josh? Right now, the group that we have is ministering to women. It's women to women.
Mm-hmm.
But as you mentioned that, I also know that there are post abortive men
Mm-hmm.
that also have that testimony and have received healing. And if God is tugging at the heart of a man out there, maybe to lead a group for men, that is something that is needed. And we would love to be able to talk with them about what that might look like. It would be wonderful to be able to offer that group to men and women, and then maybe even sometimes for couples, because there are couples who are post-abortive that are still hurting from that.
Sure.
And so that's something that's been on our heart for a long time. And I know that the Lord wouldn't put it on our heart unless He's going to put it on somebody else's heart to step up and help us out and make that possible.
Yes. Great idea.
Yeah. So hopefully this is just something that will encourage someone to take a step, maybe.
Absolutely. Thank
And
you.
You're welcome. Well, thanks again for coming in. And you guys always know the door's always open. You just call us and let us know.
We
Pop in
appreciate
anytime.
that.
We do.
Even if it's our wrong time, but your right time. Just drop in.
It's just our time.
I know.
right?
We totally had room. So I'm so glad you guys made it today. Because that's why I'm kind of like, where are they? I like having them
We
come
just
in.
wanted it to be like we knew you guys knew we were coming, and we're like, that's not a surprise. We're like, let's just show up a little later.
Yes, no, it works for me. Trust me.
Well, thank you guys so much for dropping in, and we're going to take a quick break. And as I teased before, this time we may have someone, I don't know, somebody else may drop by.
You never know.
But we should have a gentleman in here that's going to give us some news on a new event coming our way. So
Maybe
everyone-
Tom Brady's here.
Maybe.
Oh my, because
He's sounding
you're
my
such
hat.
a fan and wearing your toboggan.
yeah, let me go out with this on the screen there. How's that sound? Hang around.
Oh man.
We'll be back.